Okay, so now I am going to make a modification to the dress. Now, two things that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to draft the tie bow that I'm going to put in the back of my dress, as well as carriers or belt loops on the side. That way you're able to do your sash and not have it just falling off. So I'm going to make a few belt loops to put on the two sides and in the back. And then I'm also going to do a tie bow in the back of the bodice portion instead of doing the thread loop. So I drew it out so you could see this. So my tie bow, I'm going to make it 24 by 2.5 inches. Now, if you want to, you can do 12 inches by 2.5 and cut it on the fold, or you could do what I'm getting ready to do. So to do the tie bow, what I'm going to do is cut it on the fold. So I'm going to measure 12 inches. And that's 12 inches. And then I want it 2.5 inches high. Now, just remind yourself where you're 2.5 inches high. So now I'm going to do this and make it 2.5 inches high. This is 2.5. And then you're just going to connect the lines on both sides. And then you want to label it tie bow. And then you want to cut 2 on fold of fabric. And if you want, you can label it how long you made it. You can make it longer if you choose to, but I'm gonna put 12 by 22.5 inches or 24. This is on fold and it's 24 by 2.5 long. And then you want to make your fold line, and that's your fold line. And just make sure you label it fold. And then you're going to go ahead and cut that out. So that's your tie bow. The next thing I'm going to do is make the belt loops. You have the same option of either cutting it on the fold, or you could just make it 6 inches like I'm going to do. Now for this one, I'm going to make 6 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. Now this one is not cut on the fold because I made 6 inches wide. So you want to label it belt loops or carrier. And then you want to do cut 1. And then I'm going to write the length that I made this, just in case I want to use this again or make it a little bit longer or bigger or wider. You never know. Now, if you want, you could write on here 6 inches like this, and then 1.5 inches up and down. That part is completely up to you. Now go ahead and cut it out, and then also cut it out of fabric. I have my tie bow out and I have my pins, and what you're going to do is with right sides together, you're going to fold it long ways, hot dog style, and you're going to pin. All right, so what I have here is my tie bow. What I did was go ahead and fold it right sides together, hot dog style. And what you're going to do is I'm gonna go to my sewing machine and I'm gonna pull a long thread. The needle thread as well as the bobbin. I'm gonna pull it to where it comes all the way out to this portion to where I could pull it to turn it right side out. Now what you're going to do is using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, you're going to back stitch at the beginning, sew across, pivot, and then sew down. But you're going to leave this end open. So go ahead and do that now. So I went ahead and sewn my tie bow together, and also I did my belt loops as well. So I'm gonna just show you on a scrap piece of fabric how to do the belt loops or the carriers, whichever one you want to call it. You're just going to fold your fabric in half, wrong sides together in half, and press. And then once you create that crease, you're gonna fold both sides into that crease like so. And then you're gonna fold it one more time. Give it a good press. And then you're gonna sew close to the edge on both sides. And when you do that, you will have something that looks like this. Okay? And I have 2 belt loops right here that will go on both sides. Now I'm gonna use this one and create 2 more. And what I did after I sewn it together, I folded it in half and cut it to give me 2. Now I'm gonna use a total of 4, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. Now one thing I wanna mention is the tie bow in the back. So if you have already sewn your back together at the very back, and if you want to do the button and the thread loop, that is completely up to you. That's personal preference, but I prefer to use the tie. So I'm gonna show you how I put that tie in. So on the back, what I'm going to do is grab my tie ends or tie bow, and I'm just gonna align that with the back and pin. And then I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, I'm just going to tack this tie bow onto the back. Once I do that, I'm going to flip. I'm gonna, of course, serge or finish off the side seam right here, right there. And then I'm gonna turn it to the inside and then top stitch as close to the edge as possible on just my tie ends. Once I do that, I am all done with my tie ends, and the only thing left for me to do is attach my belt loops onto the side of my side seams. So basically what you're going to do is you're gonna fold in about 3/8 of an inch, or even probably 1/4 of an inch, and pin right at the side seams, just like that. And then you're gonna attach across on both side seams. Now, if you want to put it in the back, you can. What I would suggest is if you're going to do it in the back, make sure you put one right at that center back seam, to where you could fold them in and put it right there at the center back seam. Then you'll have 3 all the way around your dress. Once you do that, the only thing left to do is hem it at the bottom. And the hem allowance, I believe, is 1 1/4. It's completely up to you what seam allowance you would like to use. I am using a 1-inch hem allowance. So I will sew my hem in. Once you do that, you are all done with your dress. All right, so now that I talked about the pattern review for this dress, so that's all that I have for you in this episode of What You Working On Wednesday. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. So I'll catch you in the next video, and as always, keep sewing.